Hello, my friends, hello, and welcome once again to the adventurous Von Manor. Yes, my friends, the year is almost over, but the adventure never ends here at stately Von Manor. So today, it's another thrill-packed adventure with the books that time forgot. Yes, I'm going through all my books 2 boxes at a time. Most of my books are in boxes right now. And I'm going through 2 of them at a time until I run out of boxes. Which, I mean, it's got to happen, right? They're just not multiplying back there on their own. We've got to run to the end of them someday. But not today, and not tomorrow, and not for the foreseeable future. So, another 2 boxes today. So I've got... I got a bigger box and a smaller box. The bigger box seems to be packed with mostly Edgar Rice Burroughs, the master of adventure, which is appropriate, being that, Roger over there and myself are so adventurous. It looks like this is mostly the non-Tarzan stuff, although there looks to be some Tarzan mixed in there. I have a whole other box that's full of Tarzan. But this seems to be the non-Tarzan Edgar Rice Burroughs for the most part. So yeah, let's go through this box. So we've got a bunch of stuff from the Mars series, the Venus series. This is the first one from the Mars series. This is a Princess of Mars by Edgar Rice Burroughs. I'm going to do a whole The Works of Edgar Rice Burroughs video where I'll talk about all of this stuff. But this is the first Mars novel. This is a great old Ballantine edition, The Princess of Mars. I love this cover with the Elizabeth Taylor looking Dejah Thoris in the background there. A Princess of Mars. What else do I have? These are not in any kind of order. They're just all stuffed in here. So this is an edition of the Chessmen of Mars. The Chessmen. Look at those creepy critters on the Chessmen. The Chessmen is actually a really good Mars novel. Most of the Mars novels are pretty damn good. Oh, look, here's a random Tarzan book. It's Tarzan the Untamed, when he has his encounter in the desert with a vulture that wants to kill him. That doesn't turn out well for the vulture. So Tarzan the Untamed, I just randomly have in there. What do we got? We got a copy of the Mastermind of Mars, with the 4-armed white ape of Mars attacking this poor guy. Mastermind of Mars, that was an excellent novel. Ooh, we have a older edition of The Fighting Man of Mars. This is an old Ace copy of The Fighting Man of Mars. That's pretty cool right there. I love that cover. That's great. Yeah. Fighting Man of Mars. That's an old one. And here's another copy. I have multiple copies of all these books. I'm crazy. Here's another copy of A Fighting Man of Mars. This is a different edition, of course, with the floating ships. This series, man, the Martian series by Edgar Rice Burroughs, if you haven't read it, you haven't lived. Oh, look, it's another copy of A Fighting Man of Mars. Because, you need 3 copies of this book because it's just that good. But this one has the Michael Whalen cover on it. I don't have the whole series of these with the Michael Whalen. We follow that with the Swords of Mars. Look, it's the Swords of Mars. That's an awful good one. Oh, look, it's the Swords of Mars again. It multiplied in here all on its own. That's bizarre. And now we've got Lana of Cathal, the 10th book in the Martian series. This is another great Michael Whalen cover. And then we've got The Synthetic Men of Mars. The Synthetic Men of Mars, which would be the 9th book in this series. And we have a random Burroughs book. This is The Efficiency Expert. This is the type of story that would never get published, except that Edgar Rice Burroughs wrote it. He could write his laundry list, and at one time it would have been published. Not so much anymore, but at the time, yeah, he was big for a while. And here is The Land That Time Forgot, or 1/3 of it. It's actually 3 novelettes make up the story of The Land That Time Forgot, and this is the first part of it, of The Land That Time Forgot. Ace Books split them up so they can get more cash that way, but it's a great cover. Really captures the spirit. It's a crinkle cover right there. He did a lot of covers. He did this one too. This is The People That Time Forgot. Fantastic series. This is the second part of The Land That Time Forgot. And then we've got The Moon Maid. The Moon Maid, which is an excellent novel. Another beautiful, beautiful Roy Krinkle cover. I love that artist. Him and Frazetta, man. You can't do better than those guys. So there's that. And that is followed by The Moon Men. And this other great Krinkle cover there. The Moon Men. I'm pretty sure Krinkle did that. Or did he? Maybe he didn't. Maybe that's a different cover. He did the front piece. See, now I'm curious. Does it say? No, it was Ed Emsch who did the cover. Title page was Roy Krinkle. Yeah, that didn't look like Krinkle. I thought it was him for a minute, but no, it's not. And here is another copy of A Princess of Mars, but you can't see the head because of the evil, evil, evil person working at the bookstore who put the sticker there on John Carter's face. What's wrong with you, mysterious bookstore loser? What an asshat, whoever that was. And the asshat returns. That would make a good book. He returns for the gods of Mars. He did the same thing to poor Tars Tarkas there. What are you thinking, dumbass? Putting stickers over the characters' faces? This is a British copy of Thuvia Thuvia Maid of Mars. This is the fourth book in the Martian series, Thuvia. And this is the American version of that, or an American version of Thuvia. And look, we've got another Chessman, but this is a Roy Krinkle cover, I'm almost certain. Chessmen of Mars, right there. I better not say that, because I don't know for sure. Cover art, yeah, Roy Krinkle. He did that one. I'm safe. It looks like Krinkle. Of course it is. And here is another copy of Chessmen of Mars. I have to have 1 million copies of all these books because I'm nuts. So there you go. I'm a huge Burroughs fan. Obviously, which is why I have another copy of the Mastermind of Mars. Again, an old ace with a Krinkle cover. Brilliant, brilliant cover. And here's one from the Venus series. This is Carson of Venus. Carson of Venus. That's a pretty cool copy. That's another British copy, I think. Here's another Lana of Gathal, because, you know, you need many, many copies of every Martian book. You need them. Here is John Carter of Mars, which is actually the last book in the series. I probably only have a couple of these. John Carter of Mars. Now we're moving on to the Earth's core. At the Earth's core. Beautiful Frazetta cover for Edgar Rice Burroughs, At the Earth's Core. Look at that. Yeah. This guy could paint, that guy. And the sequel to that is, of course, Pellucidar. Pellucidar is the inner world where there is no time. It's a great series, the Pellucidar series, and another great Frazetta cover there. Another Frazetta cover for the third book in the series, Tanner of Pellucidar. Tanner of Pellucidar. Looking kind of murderous there, old Tanner. Don't want to mess with that guy. This is a Krinkle cover for Tanner of Pellucidar for the Ace editions. A Krinkle cover of that. Oh, look, it's another Krinkle cover of the exact same book, because I'm a lunatic. So, yeah, Tanner of Pellucidar. I love Burroughs, man. Love him. Here is a copy of Tarzan at the Earth's Core, because it was all one universe, all these stories that Edgar Rice Burroughs wrote. He had his own shared universe, so he could have a Tarzan go to the Earth's core where his other Earth's core stories are taking place. Big crossover. He could have crossovers in his stories. And this is one of them, Tarzan at the Earth's Core. Then back to the Stone Age, another Earth's Core novel, another fantastic Frazetta cover. Look at that. Just look at... This guy was a talent that was just simply unbelievable. And another Frazetta cover for Land of Terror, another Pellucidar novel, Land of Terror. And the last Pellucidar novel, which was Savage Pellucidar. Savage Pellucidar. Such a great series. Now, we're moving on to some random ones. This is The Mad King by Edgar Rice Burroughs. Another crinkle cover there. I think, or is it Frazetta? I think that's Frazetta, actually. Don't want to make that mistake. But now I got to make sure. I got to check and make sure. Is it, yeah, it's a Frazetta cover. It's just an old one, a Frazetta cover for the Mad King. Excellent novel. This is a terrible cover of a not so great book. This is The Cave Girl. I mean, the book's about as good as a book called The Cave Girl would be, but that cover is just terrible. But I think this might be the only copy of The Cave Girl I have. This is a great book and an excellent cover of The Mucker. This was kind of an oddity in Edgar Rice Burroughs' catalog, but an excellent book. If you haven't read The Mucker, jump on your Kindle and get a free copy, because you can get a free copy of that. Here is a beautiful, beautiful crinkle cover of The Land of Hidden Men, which was originally titled just Jungle Girl. But The Land of Hidden Men is somehow better. But look at that. It's just beautiful, beautiful work by an underrated illustrator, Crinkle. Beautiful work there. This is a Boris Vallejo cover, I think. Yeah, it's Boris. This is The Girl from Hollywood. Another book you probably wouldn't want to read, except it's written by Edgar Rice Burroughs, so how bad could it be? This is one of the very few Edgar Rice Burroughs books I haven't read. So I will be reading that. I'm going through slowly all the Edgar Rice Burroughs books again. I've got to pick up the pace on that. Here's The Lad and the Lion, another just kind of random non-series book by Edgar Rice Burroughs. The Lad and the Lion. It looks like an Edgar Rice Burroughs book. This book is really, really good. This is The Lost Continent. Used to be called Beyond 30, was the original title. The Lost Continent is frankly a better title. And just look at that beautiful, beautiful cover by Frank Frazetta. Just look at it. Gorgeous. You want to read this book right now, don't you? Just because of that fantastic cover. Of course you do. And it's a good book. You'd be happy to read it. This next book is so good, and you can't find a copy to save your life unless you go on eBay. This is I Am a Barbarian by Edgar Rice Burroughs. This was his historical novel of ancient Rome about the slave of Caligula. This book is good, man. If you're watching this video and you're like, I kind of like Edgar Rice Burroughs books, but you haven't read this and you like historical fiction, jump on the eBay and just see if you can find it, because this book is so good. Take my word for it. This is a damn good book. I Am a Barbarian. We've got The Eternal Savage here. The Eternal Savage, another crinkle cover. Awesome. And of course, I've got another copy of The Mad King, because I am myself mad. All right, and I've also got Escape from Venus. This is one of his Venus novels, which I think I've got just kind of spread around in here. Escape on Venus. I've got The Wizard of Venus. The Wizard of Venus. And this isn't Edgar Rice Burroughs, but because Robert E. Howard has to be in every box, or almost every box, here is a random Robert E. Howard book, The Lost Valley of Iskander. This is one of Robert E. Howard's Afghanistan, Middle East tales of adventure. Yeah. It's a good book. Of course it is. It's Robert E. Howard. This is a copy of The Lost Continent with a cover that is much, much, much worse than the cover I just showed you of The Lost Continent. In the 90s, I think early 90s are when these kind of cheesy covers came out. The book is good, the cover not so much. And Beyond the Farthest Star also has a cheesy cover like that. This one's kind of cool, actually. Edgar Rice Burroughs Incorporated has come out with a new version of this that is unedited. I guess this version was edited by the magazine editors. But I can't buy it because I'm on a book ban. Damn it. I want that book. The Apache novels. The pony soldiers killed his family. You don't mess with this guy in The Apache Devil. The Apache Devil. This is actually, I think, the second novel in the Apache series. He wrote 2 Apache novels. This is the second one, Apache Devil. But it was damn good. Oh, here's the first one. The War Chief. The War Chief. Pretty damn good. Man, Burroughs is good. And I've got a couple copies of The Outlaw of Torn. Of course I do. Look at that. Frazetta, man. You can paint a pretty picture. Outlaw of Torn. Another copy of The Outlaw of Torn. And here is a Krenkel copy of The Outlaw of Torn. Just a very different look for this Krenkel copy of The Outlaw of Torn. 2 great illustrators who did very different work. And this is a beat-up copy of The Outlaw of Torn, because I've got to have 4 copies of it. Of course I do. And the Monster Men. The Monster Men. This guy doesn't look too monstrous, but those guys in the back, yeah, a little monstrous. Boris cover for the Monster Men. Here's another copy of The Outlaw, the Eternal Savage. Of course, I've got another copy of this. Of course I do. And here's my other copy of Almuric. I've got another copy of Almuric right here. Robert E. Howard. I tell you, he sneaks in. He sneaks in everywhere. And here is a Tarzan novel. This is Tarzan and the Ant-Man. I have multiple copies of all the Tarzan novels. Most of them in another box, which we will go through eventually. And look, it's The Hour of the Dragon by Robert E. Howard. A paperback copy of this. The Hour of the Dragon. This is from Carl Edward Wagner's edition of Conan. Gotta sneak him in everywhere. And now I've got another copy of Tarzan at the Earth's Core in here. And, oh, here's the, I guess I've got the rest of the paperback editions of Conan edited by Carl Edward Wagner. This is the Red Nails. This is Red Nails. Great. Great Conan. And more Conan. More Conan. The People of the Black Circle. What a great cover that is. Yeah. And these editions had this going on with the pull-out illustration, which is really cool. How cool is that? That is so cool. You just fold it out and you can like put it on your wall, which I'm very glad they didn't do. More Robert E. Howard. It's Black Canaan. This is a collection of his horror stories, good ones, actually. And Skullface. Skullface by Conan. By Robert E. Howard, creator of Conan. So we're getting actually a lot of Robert E. Howard today. Okay, now we've got some more books in here. We have got The Complete Moon Maid from, is this Bison? Yeah, Bison Frontiers of the Imagination. The Complete Restored The Moon Maid, so it has the Moon Men in here as well. That is cool. We've got the commemorative edition of Beyond 30, which is The Lost Continent. This is the original version of that. We've got Lost on Venus, which is the second Venus novel. I hope I have Pirates of Venus around. Oh yeah, I do. I have it right here. This is Pirates of Venus. This is the first Venus novel. These are all the Bison Frontiers of the Imagination editions. This is Pellucidar, the second Pellucidar novel, which I had the other edition of. And here's their edition of At the Earth's Core. This one is cool because it's just a duplicate of the first edition and has the illustrations in it, so that's kind of cool. At the Earth's Core. And the complete edition of The Land That Time Forgot. The Land That Time Forgot. That is a lot of Burroughs with a little bit of Howard. So that's box number 1. All right, on to box number 2. Are you ready, pal? Wake up. Wake up, Roger. You know, I think he fell asleep back there. He's not the most lively fellow in the world unless he wants to knock down my Christmas lights, which I still have up. I keep them up till New Year's. So this next box is science fiction. So let's go through the science fiction. I might have shown you some of these before in one of my science fiction videos. But for completion's sake, I've got to go through everything again in my books that time forgot. This is the best of Edmund Hamilton, edited by Leigh Brackett. I have the best of Leigh Brackett, edited by Edmund Hamilton, which I probably showed you already. I love this cover just because it's so Edmund Hamilton. This is the most Edmund Hamilton cover ever, and this is really a ton of fun, this book. This is missing its dust jacket, so it's not very fun looking, but it is the best of Henry Kuttner, so you know it's good, this mysterious dust jacketless volume. Next we've got the Omnibus of Science Fiction. This is a hardcover from the 50s, edited by Groff Conklin, who edited a ton of these old science fiction anthologies, but this is a nice hardcover one, which of course has a ton of great stories in it. If I could find the title page, I mean, yeah, it's got a lot of stories in here by a lot of different people. Even The Color Out of Space by H.P. Lovecraft is in here. And of course it has like Isaac Asimov, Damon Knight, has Richard Matheson. This is a great anthology. So glad I have it. So glad I have that one, and I have the best of Cordwainer Smith. The best of Cordwainer Smith. This is awesome too. Good writer, actually. And I've got The World of Null A. This is not vintage, but it is a vintagey writer, A.E. van Vogt. How do I pronounce that name? I have no idea, but he's awful good. The World of Null A. And then I've got this cool old anthology, which I got at Half Price Books, Explorers, SF Adventures to Far Horizons. Look at that. Don't you just want to read that right now? I love old science fiction anthologies. They are awesome. Okay, Quest Beyond the Stars. This is an Edmund Hamilton. This is a Captain Future novel. You can't tell, but it is an old Edmund Hamilton Captain Future novel, which they just put out in paperback and didn't tell you it was Captain Future, but it is. Oh, this is great. This is Logan's Run by William F. Nolan and George Clayton Johnson. I've been looking for this, so I'm going to set this aside because Andrew Buckle's book reviews, he did a whole video on Logan's Run, the movie and the book and the comic books and everything. So I definitely want to read. It made me want to read this book because I've never read this book. So I'm setting that aside over here so I could read that book. Harlan Ellison, Approaching Oblivion. I have Harlan Ellison scattered through my collection here. Maza of the Moon by Otis Adelbert Klein, the Edgar Rice Burroughs clone. He writes in the tradition of Edgar Rice Burroughs. But Edgar Rice Burroughs is the master of adventure. He's more like the janitor of adventure. But what do you say? Maza of the Moon. There you go. And it's a good cover. Who does that? Is that Frazetta? Or is it Frank? Okay, I got to find out. That's a Frank Frazetta cover. Here I am just flashing it around like it's nothing when it's Frank Frazetta. Then I got Stories from the Hugo Winners, Volume 2, edited by Isaac Asimov. I've got The Martian Odyssey, which I've got more than one copy of, by Stanley G. Weinbaum. I've got A Treasury of Science Fiction, another Groff Conklin anthology. Childhood's End by Arthur C. Clarke. That was good. Jan of the Jungle by Otis Adelbert Klein. I know I've talked about this before because I remember this fantastically weird cover. Jan of the Jungle. They can't all be winners. We got Murray Leinster's The Time Tunnel. That was a good show. It was a television show for a while. I say good, but I thought it was fun. The Port of Peril. This is one of the Venus novels by Otis Adelbert Klein. The Port of Peril. And it looks like we've got the rest of the novels in that series. The Prince of Peril by Otis Adelbert Klein. These are all Crankle covers here. Planet of Peril by Otis Adelbert Klein. And of course, Robert E. Howard has to be everywhere. We've got Eons of the Night, one of the Baen books editions of Robert E. Howard. Yeah, Eons of the Night. Just a bunch of Robert E. Howard stories. That's cool. We've got Assignment in Eternity by Robert A. Heinlein. Assignment in Eternity. We got a tore up copy of Rendezvous with Rama. I think this is my only copy. It's got a step back right there. But the covers, well, it's seen better days, but it was a good book. Here's L. Sprague de Camp's The Tritonian Ring, which I have not read, but here it is. The Tritonian Ring. We've got Expedition to Earth by Arthur C. Clarke. This is a collection of short stories, 11 short stories. Look at that awesome 60s cover, and it goes on being awesome in 60s in the back. I love these old 60s weird science fiction covers. So awesome. This is Night Slaves by Jerry Soule, but I don't have much of a cover for this one. Oh well. Look at this. I knew I had a copy of this somewhere. This is Robert R. Mccammon's Swan Song. It's pretty beat up. But this is Robert R. Mccammon's Swan Song. This is actually a mammoth, right? Yeah. Yeah, this is almost 1,000 pages long. Okay, I got to pull this out for the Year of the Mammoths. But you let me know, because I haven't read this. Let me know if it's worth reading for my Year of the Mammoths, 2022 Year of the Mammoths. Let me know if I should tackle this one. I've only read The Wolf's Hour by that guy, but I like that one an awful lot. Checkpoint Lambda by Murray Leinster, a decent science fiction writer you don't hear much about anymore. I've got Lord Dunsany's Over the Hills and Far Away, one of the Ballantine fantasy books that were edited by Lynn Carter, and he did a wonderful job on this series. They're all beautiful. They're all wonderful. Anything from this series was great, so I'm happy to have that. This one I've been looking for because I'm going to do the Future History Chronicles, and this is The Complete Robot, the first book I have to read for that. And it's awful thick, but it's not a mammoth. It's not even a baby. It's just fat. It's Asimov's The Complete Robot. I think this is all his robot stories, more or less. So I'm going to pull that one aside, too. I have more than one copy of this one. Contact, which is a anthology about aliens and meeting aliens, of course. Man faces extraterrestrial life in Contact. More Robert E. Howard, because he has to sneak in everywhere. This is Wolf's Head by Robert E. Howard. I recently used the art for this cover because this book has the black stone in it. Yes, it's the first story in here. This is basically a collection of Robert E. Howard's weird stories, his weird horror stories. Wolf's Head. Great old collection. Beyond This Horizon by Robert Heinlein. Beyond This Horizon. Got some more books in here. We've got Murray Leinster's Operation Terror. I have read this one. It's pretty good. All right, we've got some Twilight Zone in here. We've got more stories from the Twilight Zone. I love the Twilight Zone, man. And new stories from the Twilight Zone. I really like that cover a lot. That's excellent. Fun stuff today. Got some fun stuff in these two boxes. Here's The Mind Cage, which I might have another copy of by A.E. Van Vogt. Again, can't pronounce this guy's name, but this is The Mind Cage. Mind Cage. Of course, everybody knows this book. It's Ray Bradbury's Fahrenheit 451. Been talked about on BookTube recently by, I think, Shelley Swearingen either read this book or is about to read it. I think she read this book with David Wiley. I think they both read this together. So you could find those videos from them. More Murray Leinster. This is Miners in the Sky. And to close out this one is a fantastic novel. One of the best, really. This is The Day of the Triffids by John Windham. This book is fantastic. Excellent, 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 excellent book. I love it. Isn't it great, Roger? See how enthused Roger is? He loves it too. So there you go. The books that time forgot. Hope you enjoyed it. Catch me next week when we go through 2 more boxes. It's just gonna keep going on for a while, guys. Sorry. But yeah, the books that time forgot. Thanks, guys.